something in Hebrew and it may not be something in Greek, and the Bible has been translated. And so there are a lot of things that if I stood up and taught you what they taught me in seminary, it would be too much because it will confuse. Not because you're not spiritually grown up. It's because in seminary they teach you to look at scripture from a theological standpoint and not a practical standpoint. All right? And so that's why sometimes what you read and you say, well, the Bible say this. Well, okay, yeah, it say that, but what is the context? All right. Who is the audience? What is the history? Okay, let's put one out there that everybody uses. What they use in my church growing up. Women ought to be silent in the church. Don't say nothing. Y'all be quiet. That's what they say. That's what I heard growing up. All right. But because I was a child in the world, because they said it, I believed it. Okay, y'all find that deep. Here's some stuff you heard in your church that because they said it, you thought it was right. You didn't check it out for yourself. Because you just say, okay, they older than me and they should have known. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of them was on milk. All right? So, what if I told you that how you interact with people in your adult life indirectly stems from how you grew up? What if I told you that? What if I told you that there were some things that you missed from childhood that you have not dealt with in your past and you keep replaying as an adult? Did every child get what they needed growing up? Okay. So before you say, oh, I'm on the list, I'm on the side where it says adults who need were met. And then somebody else gonna say, well, I don't want to say I'm on the other side of I'm an adult who needs were not met. I want to suggest to you that when I start putting these points down, that you probably will see yourself on both sides. Simply because, let me just say this, it ain't your fault how you are. We are only products of our childhood. And so if you are only child and everything you did was cute and nice and you didn't have no siblings to fight with and you ain't have no family to argue with and you get into this family system where, you know, there are 2 or 3 children and the brother talk about the sister and the sister talk about the brother and the 2 brothers get together against one another and that's foreign to you because when you grow up by yourself, you just grow up by yourself. And so you think unconsciously that how you grew up, everybody else grew up the same way. Unconsciously, we bring that to the table. And what we keep doing as adults is we keep replaying things that we have learned in our past that may not be that helpful for us, and it stagnates our current situation as adults. That's a psychologist right there. She knows what I'm talking about. Because you got to understand that if you don't deal with things that have happened to you wrongly or right in your past, they will keep repeating themselves as adults. Okay, y'all ready? Y'all don't believe me? All right, let's talk about some adults that who need, you know, they have to need. Let me say something about that. All right. Most adults that needs were met. And when we say needs were met, I'm talking about, you know, food, shelter, clothing, things like that. Are pretty satisfied. You're pretty satisfied with relationships. All right? And when I say relationships, I'm not talking about romantic. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about co-workers. I'm talking about siblings. Pretty satisfied with relationships. All right? And also, if your needs was met pretty good, you know how to love unconditionally. All right? Y'all writing this down? Y'all lying. You lie. Pretty much know how to love unconditionally. All right? Because 9 times out of 10, if your need was, if you had that growing up and somebody loved you, you got this from a parent, which I didn't believe a bit of this when I was growing up, but my mom used to say, this hurt me more than it hurt me. I hurt her more than it hurt me. And I'm the one getting hurt. No, I'm playing. All right, so that was loving unconditionally. And love you in spite of who you are, how you mess up, if you failed a grade, if you made an F, if you didn't do what they told you to do, they still love you unconditionally. All right, because you received that type of love growing up, most oftentimes you will reciprocate that kind of love. Now, people that didn't receive that cannot give it. I'm going somewhere. All right. So, the third thing that adults whose needs were met is that you change trust. Man, I can't write that. Trust from. I guess they from. I can't spell that. You change trust from others, and I'm gonna paraphrase because I ain't gonna write all this. To receive loyalty to receive loyalty when others show it, and not only that, you can handle disappointment. When others betray you. So let me read all that back to you because it's kind of different. All right. So the third thing about adults whose needs were met is that you change trust from others to receive loyalty when others show it, and you can handle disappointment when others betray you. In other words, when people react a certain way to you because of your upbringing, you don't act like a child. You take it in stride and you understand that, hey, I can't react how I reacted when I was a child. All right? Most children fight. Okay, that's what we do. Now watch this. Now here's the thing. Here's the alternative that parents have to get to a point. Okay, all of us try to teach our children, don't act up. When I go in the store, don't act up. Don't cut up and don't show out, don't fall out. And so we're always trying to suppress the anger of children. What if I tell you some anger is good?
It is powerful.
Not in the store. But what I'm saying is, okay, little Johnny got hit and somebody hit him and he get mad and he hit him back.
Yeah.
That's kind of a part of life. Yeah. I don't want to teach my child not to fight. Well, that ain't. Well, that's what you want to do, but that ain't good. There is the reason that our school system is messed up is because they think all children are one-dimensional. And so when our children don't act like their children, they put them on medication.
Right.
Because see, we don't do no time out and 1, 2, 3, 4, and all this kind of stuff. We are aggressive with our children. We 6. That's how we. You do a white child in So our children they respond differently. Because you can tell your child, go in there, go in there and watch the dishes, after you done washing the dishes, get ready for bed, take your shower. First of all, you got to call them 3 times. Dude! You heard me call you. We are geared to respond to high voices. Right. So when somebody talking calm in our subconscious mind, how we grew up, when you talk calm, you being nice. So that ain't. But what I'm saying is, what we gotta do as I ain't prejudice, but as African Americans, we got to reprogram. Because the teacher can't holler at Lil Johnny. I'm just telling you. That's why we get labeled. The teacher can't holler at Lil Johnny and say, "Look up, sit down! Sit down! I tell you what, if I had to come on out." See, the teacher can't do that because Lil Paul, he gonna go home and tell his parents the teacher done went crazy. I have never heard so much hollering in my life. And so we subconsciously have passed on some stuff that we got from our childhood that may have not been productive, but it's a part of us. And if you don't continue to deal with that, you're going to reciprocate the whole entire plan. Y'all get what I'm saying? All right, now, so we raise children and we say, don't cut up in the store. Well, when is the time to be loud? When can they be loud? I mean, do you have periods in your house where, times where they can just holler and just do what they want to do? I mean, when can they be loud? I mean, they can't be willy-nilly. I mean, what is the alternative to if I can't have this in the store? Then what is the alternative to you calling Lil Johnny down and saying something like, well, not this time, but maybe next time. Now, if you are John Michael Campbell Thompson, you recognize early on which parent you can always manipulate. Exactly. All right. Children are master manipulators. Yes, all right. And so I have heard Carol even say here lately, we gonna go down John Michael want to get out. We was together the other day. John Michael want to get out. John Michael, don't you get out. You ain't gonna do nothing but try to. You gonna jip me in here. You gonna try to get something. And I'm saying to myself with it, isn't that strange? She's already telling him he's gonna get something. And so although she's telling him not to get out the car, he's trying to get somebody to get out the car. Now see, all right. So we subconsciously do stuff with children that we don't do, and here's the thing: it's not our fault. It's because of our upbringing. And I'm not telling you. Please hear me when I say this. I'm not saying that you were raised wrong. I'm not saying that your parents did an excellent job. You're still alive. You made it thus far. They did a good job. All right. And so what I'm saying is that we have to be proponents and understand that there are things in our past that shape our present. And how we interact with adults, how we interact with our adults. So let's talk about the stuff that we may not have got and I ain't gonna do all the talking. I'm gonna give you these few points, and I'm gonna go. Adults that hadn't really got what they needed. There's a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna do 3, but they exaggerate. And they create situations that reenact their original hurt. All right, let me help some of y'all. The reason that some of you all relationship cannot go as far as it has is because unconsciously. Whoever hurt you, Jimbo or Shaniqua that hurt you in the past, when the relationship get to a certain point where you have been hurt, because you have never been at a point in your relationship before, you are afraid to go to the next level. And so sometimes what you will do, you will think about who hurt you in the past and you will reenact that. And what it does, it sabotages the relationship. Y'all get this? Until you deal with the hurt that you had in the past, you gotta quit letting what happened to you in the past hurt that happened to you in the past, drive your relationship now as an adult. They ain't the person in high school that left you at the prom. Get over that. That was 20 years ago. And you still holding on to it. You go to the Claire review and you still looking for it. I still don't like it. Right. So, you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that with your correct system. All right, now, here's the thing. The person, let your feelings go underground. All right? People do that. If you need one bed of the child, that's the thing. If you will talk, watch this. Here's the thing. Back to what I was saying earlier. There is a time that children need to be angry. Excuse me. There is a time that they need to be angry, and they need to be like, okay, if they hurt me. Watch this. Men, let's get this. Because this is what we do. Nick, you finna get ready to have a boy. When he come inside and he say, you know, he done scraped his knee. And he cried. And he tore up about it. Because, you know, sometimes when children see blood, they just don't exaggerate. Okay, instead of his dad is saying, oh, you all right? No, he ain't all right. He needs to express his hurt. That he has scraped his knee. And so if you always, and here's what men mess up, because we are the ones in the house that try to suppress stuff. When we gotta let feelings be what they are. Don't try to suppress how a person feeling. Understand that they feeling how they feeling. And just because you ain't feeling how they feeling don't mean it's a bad thing. Let folk feel. Don't try, this is what we try to do when folk, you know what, perfect example, folk going off. Men, what we do? Your wife going off on you. What you want? You ain't gonna say that. Because in our minds, if you don't say that, it'll hurry up and get over it. I just ain't gonna say that. I say something. That's what I'm gonna do. And then when you don't say that, then this one she gonna say, do you hear me? I mean, what you want me to do? I'm saying listen to you. Okay, so what I'm saying is we cannot suppress our feelings. In other words, watch this. If somebody hurts your feelings in your adult relationship with your coworkers or whoever, who you working, you gotta understand that it's okay for you to say, hey, DJ, you know, when you said this now, you know, you might not admit it this way. But when you said that kind of did something to me. And it kind of did something to me because somebody in my past did that. So let's talk about it. But what we do, we'll let our feelings go underground. And then you keep them underground. And then when they come out, my God. Wow. It goes back to understanding as a child. When you was a child, you understood as a child. But now you're an adult. And so why do adults, watch this, and this ain't nothing spiritual about this, it's just being grown. Why do adults hide when they mad, when they upset, or when they don't like something? I know a couple. It just don't make no sense. It irks me. Dude, you know, whatever his wife say, that's fine, whatever you want to do. But then, okay, you saying that in front of her, but then you gonna get to me and like, man, you know, my wife, she just overbearing. Say something! Why you acting like you like it? How she know you don't like it if you ain't saying nothing? Because you suppressing it. Well, you know, in my house, we ain't arguing, you know, we ain't. The whole thing is there's a misnomer. And I'm dealing with this right now with the person that I'm counseling, because it messes people up when they grow up in a house and they never hear any dissension in the house. Because they think everything, oh, I ain't never heard my mom and dad argue. No, they ain't. Do you understand that there is a need for your children to know when y'all upset with one another? So they will know that the world ain't like that. What happened, we mess children up because they think, okay, my mom and dad don't argue. They don't get mad. You know, they perfect. They got perfect. Then 26 years later, you get a divorce. And they like, I never heard mom and dad argue. And then this is what folks say, well, you know, we keep our children out of. No. They need to know when y'all have a Holy Ghost moment. They need to know that. Listen, my children got a meal and they just be like. I might just go on to the refrigerator. Yeah, all right. So, they have. All right. So here's another thing that adults who needs weren't met in childhood do. This gonna mess y'all up. Afraid to receive true love. You know why? Because they missed it growing up. Something happened. Not saying you didn't have children, you didn't have parents that love you, but when you have some things that were met, I tell men this, and I tell especially men that have boys. When your boys are a certain age, you know, fathers that have girls, you ain't gonna have no problem with. Girls are naturally, they gonna love their daddy. I mean, y'all women got to get over that, because when that girl get about 13, she ain't gonna really like you too much. I mean, she ain't. I mean, it's gonna be all about her dad, and you can't get mad about it. That's just how they are. But I tell men, this is what we miss, is there is a certain need of affection that boys need from their fathers early. We got to kill them. We got to. When JR, well, both of them, well, they think older now, but when they were little, 1-ish and 2-ish, you know, I used to hug them and kiss them and, you know, do all that they mama do. Because at that age, they needed that. All right, but JR versus himself finna be 14. So he don't want me touching on him. He got just as much hair in places that I do, and he thinks it's wrong. And his voice is just as deep as mine, and he scared his mom in the house, because when he walked down the hall, she think it's me. You know, all kind of stuff. So he does not need that anymore. John Michael don't need it, so he thinks he's wrong too. But you can't be afraid of true love, even if you have not received it. So here's the thing. When Paul says, listen, when I was a child, I spake as a child. Some stuff we say is foolish. Even as adults, we say some foolish stuff. And then there are some things that we understand in a foolish way as adults, because there is some stuff that we miss. We exaggerate. Like, some stuff ain't that deep. Let me make a point in church. So Tara came in church, you know, Pastor, she just didn't even speak. I mean, that don't make no sense. Then I looked on Facebook, she ain't like nothing I said. And I know she acting funny because she mutual friend with about 100 and some folks of mine. And she got me blocked out, I can't see. It ain't that deep. You see how we can exaggerate stuff? She may have that cake. Aren't people entitled to having a bad day that they don't want to talk to folks, that they don't want? I mean, it might be she be having bad, but we exaggerate sometimes. All right? You got to understand that if you're an adult and you understand that you experiencing some growing pain, that you got to be satisfied with whether Shatarian speak to you or not. Because her speaking to you ain't gonna determine that. What is that? Well, I just know you ain't no woman. I sure ain't. But I know enough to understand that you ought to be satisfied with the relationship that you have with each individual in here, and understand this. If I'm close to Sectarian, watch this, I ain't got to be close to all y'all. Because each relationship is different. These folk that married in here, every marriage don't look alike. Oh, I'm going somewhere now. I'm going somewhere. And so you got to be satisfied with your relationship. But what happens is, people are not satisfied with the relationship, watch this, that they have with their own siblings. And sometimes that spills over. Because what people will do with their friends, watch this, they will recreate their family. Y'all better pay me for this. They will recreate their family. And so let's just think about it. Let's just think about it. And I thought about this today, and I had to do some self-evaluation about a few friends that I have. One of my friends is my brother. And one of my friends is my sister. I got some stoic people in my circle that's like my brother. Then I got some people in my life that always need affirming. That's my sister. Now, I want you to think about, in your own friend circle, in your own, I'm not talking about your significant other, in your own friend circle, you have unconsciously recreated either your siblings, your cousin that you were close to, or somebody in your circle. There's at least one person in your circle that you're close to, that you have made them a family member, and you have recreated them. And let's think about it. You probably have the same problems that you had with the person in your family that you now have with the person in your circle. And can I tell you something? What that is, that's unresolved issues. Issues that need to be dealt with. It was not until me and my sister had a talk. Me and my sister was getting into it a whole lot. We just, she's 12, 13 years older than me, so, we just didn't click. And it was just sibling stuff. I mean, she was a girl, I was, whatever. Because my mama spread us all out, all of us were the only child at one time. So, here I am, graduate Bible college, move to Jacksonville, get married. So the older I got, when my sister started becoming, close, I would, because I didn't have, any kids, her kids were my kids, so I would buy stuff for them, and I would, she needed some, I'd give it to her, she'd give it to me. And then so all of a sudden now, out of the blue, here comes Carol. And now, I am no longer the person that she can go to. I'm trying to help some of them. I'm no longer the person, not that she had a problem with Carol, but you got to understand, when a person has been a person's sibling, when they link up with somebody outside the family, sometimes you feel betrayed. Like, you ain't gaining a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law, but you losing. This person has been your best friend. Your siblings and your cousins are your first friends. All right? And so, y'all that close, and then all of a sudden that person get married, and then you like, I ain't got nobody. So, unconsciously, watch this, my sister had no problem with Carol, but unconsciously, she felt that she lost me. All right? And watch this. And even subconsciously, that she may have thought that she had to be in competition with my wife. And so it wasn't until we sat down and I said, hey, number one, you my sister. All right? And if you need something, I'm gonna still be there. Now what? Now the difference is I'm gonna have to not ask somebody permission, but let somebody else know, because that's just part of being married. Okay, that's marriage 101. It ain't that I needed permission. It's that just when you in a covenant relationship with folks, listen, when you doing stuff, especially with money, and y'all in the same account, then you got to tell somebody, okay, these $25 is going towards something. Because if they swipe their card, they swipe their card. Some of y'all can't talk on this because y'all got separate accounts. But anyway, but if they swipe their card and the $25 ain't in there, somebody gonna have some explaining to do. All right, and I understand. Every couple is different. Some people don't work well with the same account. All right. But you got to understand that somebody got to be responsible for the accounting part, all right? So it what me and my sister sat down and we talked about it, and I said, hey, that's my wife, but we gotta, we still cool, all right? And it was after that everything was all right. Plus, here's the thing that you got to understand. In my family, watch this. This is gonna help some of y'all. In my immediate family, with my siblings, I'm the middle child. I was the first one to get married. First one. So now you got to understand, because siblings don't say it, but there is a sort of rivalry that happens. Because see, when you get married before your older sister, they may feel slighted that it ain't them. And so that's why they acting crazy at the wedding rehearsal. They got attitude. Don't want to get their shoes dyed. Don't want to pay for their hair to get done. I mean, that's why they act like that. Because in their minds, they're saying, I can't believe here's my baby sister and she get married. What's wrong with me? Okay, so they may not admit that to you, but subconsciously in their mind, that's what they say. All right? So they got issue with it because there's always this rivalry, okay? Now, what you got to understand is, if you ain't satisfied with the relationship that you have with your sibling before you get married, there will be many problems in the marriage. And if your spouse is not satisfied with the relationship, take perfect example. Nick, you the only child. All right? Who else on the child here? Shan on the child? Oh, Miss Beauty on the child? Carol on the child? Who else on the child here? Oh, Q on the child? Who? Oh, you on the child, Aaron? I don't know that. Oh. Deep. We need to have on the child. Deep on the child. All right. So everybody else has siblings. All right. So the people with that were the only child, what I'm about to say, you probably cannot relate to, simply because, well, you may can relate to, because most of you have best friends that were just like brothers and sisters and all that kind of stuff. All right. Watch this. When you got married, did your friends start acting funny? Just like about it. I didn't say all of them. I said, did your friends? Wait, let's just talk about, did your siblings? I'm gonna tell. Let me be very transparent. I believe my brother and my sister are watching. When my brother got married, I had an attitude. Oh yeah, can I tell you? At the wedding rehearsal, I was attitude. After the wedding, I was attitude. I didn't want to go to the reception. I didn't want to do, because in my mind, I had to deal with me. In my mind, my little brother was being taken away from me, even though I love Rachel. But subconsciously, I was dealing with, watch this, that my brother was, watch this, he grown, and I can't, it's a certain way I want to treat him, and I can't treat him like that no more, because he's going to have a wife. All right? And so I had an attitude. Can I tell you, my family said, I did the wedding and everything, but I still had an attitude. Can I tell you, I got to the reception, they was over there in the eating line. I was like, this, I'm ready to go. She didn't understand what was going on. But I understood it. It was like I was at a funeral. And not aware, because I'm looking at her side, I'm like, all these folks, I don't know nothing about these folks. you know, what our family, what our family, that's just how you are. So I'm at the wedding looking at them folks side-eyed. So it's because, watch this, because I've had my brother all my life, and then somebody comes in, and basically in my mind, I'm saying our relationship is not going to be the same. So I had to deal with, watch this, I had to deal with myself and understand that, listen, and really let my feelings not be underground, but to express that I am hurt because my little brother get married. Listen, I felt the same way when he went to A&M. Felt the same way. I was like, why you going all the way to A&M? He could have went to Stanford like that. The only proud moment that I had is when he worked at UPS. I said, oh, I paid away. I did some. I was proud of that. I was living in Montgomery. I was saying, you know, my brother's supervisor too up in Hunter. They're like, yeah, we know you might get it. Yeah, he started because of me. So in that way, I'm proud. But y'all get what I'm saying? And so it's growing up and it's dealing with who you are as a person, and it's dealing with how you feel, and it's okay for you to feel how you feel. But just don't stay where you are. Be satisfied with the relationship that you're in with your siblings, with your friends, with your significant other, and understand that you are an adult, you ain't a child. And so when you get upset with somebody in a relationship, in a friendship, in a marriage or whatever, then you need to open your doggone mouth instead of acting like a child. Am I helping y'all tonight? Yes. Well, what my money at passed off? Because I charge $75 an hour for this. This is good stuff. So, what do you, I did not talk tonight. What do you have to say about growing pains and growing up? I would say that we all have some growing up to do. You agree? That we all are not there yet. That we all sometimes are on both sides of the fence. Sometimes we exaggerate stuff. Sometimes we take stuff too deeply. We take it too hard. I mean, I think one of the biggest things is Facebook. I mean, I don't understand how Facebook run people's lives. I just it ain't that serious to me. I don't go on Facebook to see how many likes I got and who liked me. I care less. I don't put stuff up for likes. I put stuff up to inspire. Alright? And I don't care who likes it. And so some people do that. But you gotta, and then you gotta understand that everybody, watch this, does not see relationships like you see. There are some people that just ain't loyal. They don't care. I mean, they're going to talk to you and they're going to talk about you to somebody else. Somebody else going to talk about you. They just ain't loyal. But that's all right. When you find that out, understand where you are in the relationship and be satisfied with it. You wonder how your business get out. It's because you telling folks close to you when you saying this is my best friend. Well, your best friend got a best friend. So, what else? In a question before I go. I mean, I'm going to go because I really got y'all too much.
Yeah, Pastor, some of those defense languages are not learned, they come naturally.
Yeah.
And we tend to accept the ones that make us feel safe and comfortable.
Yes, I'm glad you said it.
And all of them are not learned at home.
No.
Most of them are learned socially as a child, coming up through school, and friendships.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Case in point. How you learn how to act in church? I'm talking about when you were small. Somebody told you how you gonna act, right? You didn't have no choice. It wasn't no children's church back then. It wasn't, we had it. This is what you gonna do. I want all y'all to go in there. Y'all gonna sit down. Y'all gonna go to the bathroom before we leave. Y'all ain't gonna be doing all this walking. We have no choice. Now, children run up and down the aisle, play the ball, all that slide. You know why? You know why? we have a boundary issue. Because I keep telling folks, your children, it may be cute when they here, but what when they get up here and they 4 and 5 and they telling you, stop it, Mom! You know you can't say this thing. You black mom. I got a reflex. Let's do it when you're right. A lot of stuff, but here's the thing. How you learn socially is really, what you have learned socially really starts at home. All right? Case in point, my supervisor was the only child. My supervisor, Bob, that came and did the marriage seminar. And so he said, he grew up in the house, he was the only child, and after they ate dinner together every day. And so after dinner, everybody would sit in the den, they didn't watch a whole lot of TV, and they would read a book. Okay, so he married this lady with 5 siblings. And so he said, the first time he met them, because he's a quiet guy, he laid back, he said the first time he met them, and he just heard all this calculating, he was like, oh my God, what have I done? Have I entered the Twilight Zone? Simply because he wasn't used to that. Because in his house, everything was what? They read, they did things silently, and in his wife's household, they did everything nothing. Because it was 4 or 5, it was all girls, I think he said. It was all girls. So he had to relearn the stuff from his childhood. It may have worked in that house, but it didn't work in his house. All right? And so a lot of stuff, we have to learn how to retrain ourselves to understand, okay, it's back to the principle that me and Nick. Me and Nick have the same principle about this. A clean room is a made up bed.
Amen.
That's just what we have. But that don't mean it's right.
It is.
You gonna stick to that. But that don't mean it's right. Alright? I'm talking about time we get out of bed, we want to make the bed up. I mean, we pulling back covers and doing all that kind of stuff. Because if you know, when we grew up, you know, you couldn't stay in the house all day. You know, you couldn't, slam the door in and out. They ain't play that. Especially on Saturday, you had things to do. You cleaned up the house, then you went outside, and you stayed outside all day. You came in about 1-ish and got you a bologna sandwich, you went back out, and you came back in, and you ain't sit on the bed. Sleep. Once that bed made up, don't sit on it. So that's the way that we grew up. We're not saying that was the right way, but it was the way that we grew up. And I think sometimes what we do, we take our experiences and we put our, watch this, we put our assumptions on people. And that ain't right. It ain't right. You can't assume everybody was raised like you or everybody thinks like you. That's being understood as a child and thinking as a child. All right? Any question on that? I'm done.
Okay, so is that like in the same household? You can't assume that everybody was raised the same way, especially if you're living in the same household?
You can't, I mean, Jan, Jeffrey, and DeMichael are 3 different individuals, and we were raised by the same person.
Right.
All of them don't like cleanup. I'm just saying, we were raised by the same person. I mean, I'll take my cousin Teresa and Stephanie. They grew up with several siblings.
9.
Yeah, but all of them different.
Yes.
They grew up with the same folks.
Yes.
But they all different. Some of them talk, some of them don't talk.
Right.
Stephanie was quiet for a long time. Yeah, she just started talking. I'm serious. I mean, she was just a quiet soul. That's just how she was. All right? So yeah, you can't assume because my sister is this way that because she's my sibling and we were raised by John Spake that we both are the same way and that we hold the same thing. We're totally different because there are some things that she grabbed that I didn't grab. My mama told me this the other day, and it blessed me. I was happy. My mama said, all the time you were just sitting in the kitchen and you were playing, and I thought you were playing, but she said, I never really taught you how to cook. I was like, yeah. I said, but I was paying attention to stuff. you know. So I was paying attention. I mean, I knew my mama was a cake baker back in the day, and so she used to bake all kind of cake. But then I used to watch her cook some stuff, and I was like, okay, you know, I kind of know. I remember the first time I fried chicken, I ain't had no flour. I used meal to fry chicken, and I was trying to show my mom that I could cook for me and my brother. And so she had worked 16 hours shift, and I had cooked some rice, some corn, some English peas, and I had fried some chicken. But I ain't have no. I said, well, you know, I just ain't gonna fry stuff with meals, right? So I fried the chicken. I mean, a 10-pound bag of legs. I mean, a 10-pound bag of legs. I think. I mean, I'm just in the fry. Baby, my mama got home. I can't tell y'all what she said. But she was so mad about me messing up that chicken. She said, now everything else was good. But you know, you can't put no meal on no chicken. So, I mean, I tried. So, I'm saying, now my brother, he can't boil water. Because he was baking, and he got treated like a baker too. I mean, my mama had him change his life, so he got treated. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I ain't even know until one day my mom said, "Oh, I'm finna go to the hospital." I was like, "What?" I'm finna have your brother. What? I'm like, man, but you old. My brother wrote a paper. My brother was in the 5th grade, and there was a paper he was at Vernon, and it was a paper my mom found the other day, and she was laughing when she was reading. Because he wrote an essay about mama and, you know, how old she was when she had him. And his only prayer was that she lived to see him graduate. And so she was laughing so hard, she was like, Negro, you thought I was going to die. All right, so any other questions, concerns, or thoughts that you have to growing things and growing up?
I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just that I think when you learn to put that in context and understand that when people do things to you, it's really not about you. That's a level of maturity you really have to get to.
You got to
understand it ain't about you.
You got to get to that level.
Yeah.
And not take things so personal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but we do. I mean, we say stuff personal. I mean,
you do, but you have to sort through that
and
understand that person really is really about them.
Right. Exactly.
And no matter even what they're doing to you, it's really not about you personally.
Right.
It's really about them and what their issue is.
Right. Right.
And then you can maybe take it a little better.
Yeah.
I mean, not you ain't gonna be mad or hurt or whatever.
Right.
You understand it a little better.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Doctor. I promise when I get my dog, y'all better call me doctor. I mean, every time, Dr. Daddy, Dr. Pastor, what I'm going through right now is right, Lord Jesus. This man that made me mad today and sent me a nasty email. I hope he watches. So what else? Any other last thoughts? Was this helpful for y'all?
Yeah.
To understand that we are all not at the same level, and understand that we unconsciously recreate our family. And I believe that there are some people in this room, you might need to sit down and have some conversation with your siblings. Or you may need to have a conversation with your cousin. And, you know, somebody that you were close to, that you consider a friend that have hurt you in class and be like this. I don't understand how you treat me. And they may need, sometimes folks don't even know that they've hurt you. You up at night crying and they take you in this life. I mean, because you let your feelings be on the ground. Alright? And that, I mean, the Bible says it's time to place for everything. So, alright. Any other questions?